Hello everyone, Joshua Hayes at BigWayTrading.com. Going to start off the video on a monthly time frame of the indices because something is happening this month for the first time since 2021. Before we get into it, remember, price is all that pays. That's all I really pay attention to. Price affects my P&L. I trade price intraday, end of day, all time frames. Price. Volume is a secondary indicator along with the moving averages. This is the 200, 150, 150 SMA for daily, weekly, and monthly time frames. The rest of these indicators, just think green light is go, red light is slow. If all three are in red lights, whoa, you really want to be careful. But for the first time since 2021, this indicator, the time segment volume, is going green. Now, we need to close the month. This is the December month. We are now in January. We're only a few days in January. Anything can happen. But if January closes green on this indicator, what it means to me is this. When I get grade A setups, when I'm red on this indicator, it tells me I can press size on them, but I shouldn't expect it to work. Also, when it's red like this, my own statistics have proven to me that my odds of being right compared to being wrong is much lower, and the percent gain to percent loss, we basically go from a 3 to 4 to 1 on winners to losers to 1.5 to 2 to 1, especially in this tape post 2008 with all the changes that has occurred in the stock market. But I want to make note, not only are we going green here, we're already green on MACD, and we've been green on the chicken money flow since 2009. So I want to remind everybody, for all those bears out there, you guys could have avoided being wrong forever since the 2009 lows by just being on the right side of the chicken money flow on the monthly time frame. Now that SPY just turning, also just turning the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The DIA is doing the same thing. And once again, you check out this indicator and look at what price does. Now remember, this indicator is red, price holds up and then moves higher. So the indicator is wrong and is stupid, right? Wrong. Price is what matters. It's when the indicator and price aligned that you really need to listen to it. But whenever it's green, good things happen. Grade A setups really produce huge gains. Grade B setups produce good gains. But the bottom line is the win-loss ratio increases, the pain-gain ratio increases. So we're getting there, but we still need to close the month green. So that's monthly on DIA and the SPY. IWM, we're now there. As of December's close, we're now green. So we're green. We're good to go. We're triple green on the monthly time frame. Keep this in mind. We're coming out of a slingshot. We have a squeeze. I'm a buyer of any and all pullbacks, and we'll review what I'm looking for moving forward. And then there's the QQQ. Basically, we turned back here, I would say, in May of 2023, a small blip to the red. But overall, we've maintained this green here. And with us already being green, this is our lead momentum. You can see we slingshotted higher with after a squeeze, and we're now out of the squeeze. And once again, the chicken money flow on the monthly time frame, all green since 2009 low. Even that sell-off in 2008, CMF never went red on the QQQ. So that's what the monthly time frames look like. This is the first time since 2021. Now, if you'll notice the last time in 2020, goes green here for the QQQ. Notice where my arrow is. The SPY follows. Look at what the SPY does after that turn. Okay? The DIA, same thing. Look what the DIA does. And the IWM, which lagged, and is no surprising, led to the downside after lagging to the upside. Once it turned green, everything was in alignment. Well, what happened from basically October 2020 to the February 2021 highs? Some really awesome returns. So keep that in mind. It's early. We're not there yet on the SPY and DIA, but we are there on the small caps and the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the SPY and QQQ, well, excuse me, If the SPY and DIA can confirm the IWM and QQQ, the small caps and the tech stocks, we are good to go. Let's get granular by looking at my other more important indicator on a weekly and daily time frame that I do not use on a monthly time frame. All right, so we're looking at the weekly time frame of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and as you can see, we've come out of that slingshot. We've resolved higher. This is our tickets indicator. This is the most important indicator to me. When it's below the zero line, you basically don't want to be long. When it's above the zero line, you want to be long. Now, the best setups is when this tickets indicator is below the 50 SMA, and this signal line is above the zero line, buy stop above the 50 SMA, and you capture that whole move. Unfortunately, the tail wagged the dog this time around. So we got the signal and the move higher. Just no entry on this one. But a pullback below the 50, if this indicator is above zero, buy stop above the 50 SMA. Understood? It's just that simple. QQQ. You're looking at it here. Same thing. Notice the tickets indicator crosses here. Notice though, price never gets below the 50. There's nothing I can do with it. It's just a chase on. Now back here, actually, can I go further back? Back here, man, this index has been so strong. I don't even have it. That's just going back to April. That's why. So just ignore that, but just know any pullback below the 50 SMA on the weekly, if we get above the zero line, below the zero line, you want to do a risk on buy. You want to see how it works? Here's the 50 SMA on the SPY weekly. Tickets indicator gets above the zero line here. SPY pulls back, gets below the weekly. Buy stop goes above 418.60. You get long, risking to this low, and as you can see, it's basically been straight up until finally pulling back. But on a weekly time frame, we're lined up. We look good. IWM, we're lined up. We're above the zero line. We're looking good. Looking for this index to pull back below the 50 with that signal line above zero, and we are good to go. QQQ on the weekly, you can see the TSV has flipped red. So we're seeing some weakness on a weekly. Now, if we look at a daily time frame, boy, this is a long-term view. You can see here, we are red currently on the TSV. We are starting to stair step lower on the tickets indicator, but we're still well above zero. We are now below the 21. We get below the 50. This indicator is above zero. Buy stop above the 50. I hope everybody understands. DIA 50. We're well above the zero line on the daily. We get the price below the 50 SMA. This tickets indicator is above the zero line. Buy stop above the 50 SMA. That goes for the IWM, QQQ, SPY. I don't even know what indices I've done now, but you get the point. Short term, everything signals that we're pulling back, but I want to be a buyer because of how strong the weekly is. I want to be a buyer in the daily time frame. Now, if you want to see how awesome this is, here's a 1 hour chart with this indicator. I actually want to go back. Let's see. Let's do 90 days. Let's increase it. And just to show you, I started to look for a pullback around here because this indicator started to stair step down and get weakness. And as you can see, lower highs, lower lows, negative divergence on the way up. And then even in the short term, from here to here, if you look down here, high, lower high, below the zero line. Look at what happened as soon as we crossed the zero line. Price is above the 50 SMA, but the indicator is below the zero line. Price cracks the 50, gets back above it, back below the 50. Tickets indicators below zero. I do not play the hourly time frame, but boy, oh boy, don't you wish you did? So the hourly time frame is our lead time frame, or at least is mine. We're starting to see a slingshot, a curl in the trend, maybe. TSV starting to show some green, but we're still strongly stair-stepping lower. So unless we go zero here, see more green, or start to see this indicator show me some green lines, I don't feel like stepping in just yet and buying the dip. And it doesn't matter. if you are going to buy the dip, you do a buy stop above the 50 SMA on an hourly time frame, but only if it's above the zero. So the DIA, still C. There's no reason to get bullish short term just yet, in my opinion. You can if you want. Get long here, risk to the lows. That's what I would do if you're 100% sure this is the bottom because of this slingshot move and the green starting to show here. But as long as this is leading down, I know I want to exercise caution. So with all that being said, short term, cautious. Intermediate term, come on, pull back for me, baby. I want to get long with the reclaim of the 50 SMA. If that tickets indicator is above zero, long term, very bullish. And on that note, I'm going to still piecemeal into the long term portfolios each and every week until we get a huge market flush. And I can go ahead and get a great fill, hopefully below the 200 SMA. Doubt it happens. And if it doesn't happen, we'll just keep buying. Every 2 weeks, we'll buy a high quality name that I believe is going to be at least 10x in the next 5 to 20 years. I don't put anything in my long-term portfolio that I don't believe is going to double at least 2 times. So I'm expecting at least a 200% move in 5 to 20 years in every name that I put in the long-term portfolio. But for this evening, I have one new swing trade for you. It's not a high quality swing trade, but it's the only quote signal I received this weekend, and I'm willing to trade it, but with some cautious conditions. Let's review. All right, so the new swing trade is CASY. As you can see here, CASY is forming a big base on base pattern, big ascending base, and now it appears another ascending possible base on base. This is the daily time frame. We are triple green on the daily time frame. We are coming out of a slingshot, coming from a loose, medium, tight, medium, should go loose, squeeze, 2 green dots. We shall see. Everything's lined up. Everything looks good. But is this a safe trade? No. And here's why. Higher time frame weekly. Red, red, red. Nowhere near just freshly coming out of a squeeze. It was all the way back here in June, the last time it came out of a squeeze. But the base is good. The moving averages are properly stacked. But red light, red light, red light. Not 3 green lights. We got 3 green on the day, but we have 3 red on the weekly. Also, this stock, and it's no surprise that I would have loved to have received today's pocket pivot point signal on heavier volume on this day. But on this day, you can see volume was lower than the day before, preventing a pocket pivot point signal. So this was not a new long signal. However, you give me this volume bar with that pocket pivot point signal with this setup below on this day, you can take a decent size, risking and calculating your size of this low. The signal, though, that I'm finally getting is now extended. And I ask you, this right here, what is this? So this is, in fact, the 21 EMA. Awesome. Okay, cool for this one. I didn't know. This is the 21 EMA. Is this lowest wick extended from the 21 EMA? Yep. Was it extended here? Nope. Is this stock extended from its 50 SMA? Or that's the 100. And I guess the 50 is right at the 21. So the same question applies. Is the 50 SMA extended from this lower wick? Is the 21 EMA extended from this lower wick? Then it's prone to fail. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to take this trade idea. I'm going to be open mind to it working because that's how the stock market can work. But if it fails, I won't be shocked either. In a hot market, I'm calculating my size and risking to this low. In this market, under all the conditions we just reviewed, I'm calculating my size from the gap up day lows, and my final stop loss will be here. So if it triggers and fills on Monday, my final stop is right here. And whatever dollar amount I am 100% okay with losing on the position is calculated from here. That way, if it does happen to trigger and crash intraday through my stop here, I will lose less on the trade than I wanted to. In a great market, I don't mind losing the entire risk principal. In this tape, I'd rather keep that capital for when everything is a green light equal go. Green light equals go. Ugh. Have a great rest of, wow, guess I've been doing this for too long. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. I will see you in the chat room for all members on Monday. Aloha.